I like what you said about the love for music because I'm a little bit of a musician myself in terms of songwriting, playing guitar, a little bit of drums, a little bit of piano. We've also talked about your interest in playing the violin, and I think there's a word to really wrap around what you were saying about music is being driven, is being focused, right? Because to play the violin and to play the violin good, you've got to focus, you've got to be disciplined, you've got to
Mm,
practice a lot. And it's probably the same thing to go through
mm,
law studies, which are very strenuous, especially in Germany,
mm,
and to have a career as an international business lawyer.
mhm. Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And what is maybe really interesting as well is where comes that fire from, if I may ask? That was the first thought I had in my head. That fire to pioneer, that fire to build something up with your own hands. What was the trigger moment in that regard?
I think the trigger moment might have been to have success. So I came from a very modest family, uh, paying a lot of attention, having a lot of attention for education and for, let's say, social progress. And that, in that situation, if you want to be a little bit more international, if you want to be a little bit more successful, you had more or less to work hard. And very early, I realized that if you do it the smart way, you can be successful and get a lot of things which might not have been possible without that, let's say, that enthusiasm which you need to do. So enthusiasm is a very important ingredient for business success.
You mentioned hard work, and this gets at the heart of what Albert Ian Gray was looking at when he was trying to determine the common denominator of success. He summarizes it with the following. I'm going to paraphrase his quotation, but he essentially said that every man who's been successful or every woman who's been successful has the habit of doing the things that failures don't want to do. If I paraphrase it in another way, it's the habit of doing the things that others don't want to do, others being those who are not successful. And you haven't had one company, but you've had several companies, and those companies have been sort of a build up like a staircase after they were sold off, right? And so that gives me the idea that there must have been some type of pattern that was habitually repeated to forge success after success after success. So my question would be, if you would reflect on, your past to the present and where you want to take AI Tastic even into the future, what are some of those patterns, or what are some of those day-to-day habits that you do that actually make the difference?
Jean, there might be several ones. What comes to my mind first is pioneering spirit. So to be, let's say, curious, I think curiosity is driving. So you have to be always awake, you have to be curious, and you have to cross borders and try to take things to the next level. So if you have that kind of disposition, being curious, and trying to always never be satisfied. That's on the other side. Never be satisfied. There's always something how you can improve it. So that was more or less maybe one of my main characteristics, even as a researcher, where I was trained in a very competitive academic system. Who has the best paper? Who has been invited to that conference? Who goes there? Who gets this award? Yes or no? So research, the academic system wasn't a bad, let's say, school for that kind of fair competition.